you have a lot of good wrestlers here. You got a lot of top wrestlers, top guys, big guys.
Okay.
In the wrestling business, it's got to be like a carnival or a circus. You can't have the same guys with muscles and stuff. You understand?
Okay.
And if you ask Bobby Fulton, he will tell you, Stan Hansen,
Okay.
they got some good big guys here working,
Okay.
and they're professionals. You could take all these guys here to Tokyo, San Juan, Puerto Rico, all over Australia and everything, and they could draw a lot of money.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, now, how'd you get your start in the wrestling business, anyways?
How did I get my start? I was teaching a karate for Bert Ruby, and Jack Britton was the main one who got me into the business. Him and Gino Brito. Yep.
Oh, on a golden afternoon, full leisurely we glide, while little hands make vain pretense, our wanderings to guide. Alice, a childish story take, and with a gentle hand, place it where childhood's memories are twined, in memory's mystic band, like withered wreaths of pilgrims' flowers, plucked in a far-off land. That's the poem that Lewis Carroll wrote for the introduction to Hi, Alice in Wonderland.
I gotta ask you this question. I was at the old arena shows and the ECW shows, and what was it like first getting over with the head gimmick and everything? Because I was there, man. That was nuts.
It was such an awesome time, an awesome memory, and I think for the grace of God and ECW fans and the Plastic Head, if it weren't for that, I wouldn't have a career. So.
It was something else. I remember Paulie they were giving out the heads before the show. And then I had one for like 20 years after. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So about the match with Shane Douglas at the pay-per-view, I know you were saying earlier that it was a Paulie swerve. It just seemed like it could have went such a different way, and I don't know. It was such a shock.
You try things, and and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and time will tell. A lot of people said that they felt that like people expected and wanted me to win the title, and when it didn't happen, they were like turned off, like they were disappointed. But there may be just as many that thought it was wow, I never thought that would happen,
Yeah.
Never expected that. So you never know.
Yeah, it almost kind of reminded me of when they turned Fonzie on Taz, because they were like a perfect match, and I just never knew why they did certain things they did.
Yeah.
You were hotter than hot at that time, man. I mean, I never saw anybody get that over that fast.
It wasn't fast. It took a while.
Okay.
But I was really happy with how things were going. I was loving life. It was great.
I was sitting on a ball in St. Dominic's Orphanage Playground, and I saw two white lights at the end of the field. And as they got closer, they turned into a form. And when they were real close, they turned into big boys running in tandem. And I started running. Then, I was 3.5, 4.5, something like that.
Okay. That got you into the business at all?
Well, I knew this guy. I don't want to say it, but Bobby Fulton. We've been friends for many, many, many years, and I used to look at him wrestle and stuff like that, and I liked the way he wrestled. He had a partner and stuff like that. He's been to Japan with me many times, and that's it.
The socioeconomically induced functional identities. Frankenstein, vampire, gasoline tank fellow, robot, dinosaur. Know-it-all. Dudes and dainties. Dudes and dainties. You dumb. Wake up. Open your eyes. Listen. 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 Shut your tracks and listen. Nature's talking to you. You don't even know it. That's how much you don't listen. Yeah, take an example from a little kid. In peace and quiet, wonderlust, and look at the eyes. Where's that little kid? You could be there too. Plant a pot seed. Discover patience and responsibility. Blah, 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 blah.
You watch it? You watch the movie Dick Tracy?
No, he had a fucking watch. When everybody else had an Elgin or a Timex, the Dick Tracy watch, it was like a movie. You could talk to it.
Yeah.
They could show you things.
Yeah.
That's the cartoon Dick Tracy. Somebody who was into it was giving it a heads up on the technology company. George Washington Carver was, you know, a normal black man with dirt. And he discovered the reality of peas and peanuts on a scientific level. And that doesn't, light up the space movie with the divine at work through a person. He didn't do that alone. He had the divine helping him.
How would you describe your experience in Smoky Mountain Wrestling and in ECW?
I loved both. They were both unique and different from each other. Smoky Mountain Wrestling, I love Jim Cornette dearly, and got the opportunity to work with Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, which was priceless. And ECW, Paul Heyman was fantastic, and I got the opportunity to work with Shane Douglas on a regular basis, who I admire, and Taz and Sabu and Rob, all the guys. It was completely unique and different from each other, but both great.
I was eating the Kobe beef steak, right? And the Mafia guys, they paid for my, thing. It's $350. So JJ, he comes in, right? And he sits down. He says, "Oh, that steak's good." And
I'm looking at the menu, and I'm looking at steaks, and the most expensive steak on the menu was like 3,000 yen. And I looked at Abdullah. Abdullah had a steak hanging off the plate. I said, "Well, this must be the 3,000 yen steak." So instead of saying, "I'll take that," I said, "I'll have what Mr. Abdullah is having." So they brought out a steak like his hanging off the plate, and a few minutes later they brought me the bill. It was like 12,000 yen, like $400.
Wow. You know what he done? What? He looked at me like this.
You got me.
He said, "You got me."
Yep.
And
I
then
never forgot it.
what he done? He took
did it to myself.
He took the bill and went like this.
Get the fork out, butcher. Get the fork. It's in your jacket. Get your fork. I'll stab him. I'll get your fork.
Say what? Say, hey, RB, come sour, let's get the Rasta power. Ja Rastafari. Remember Solomon, Bathsheba, their son Menelik? Well, a Jewish boy from a Jewish woman named Jesus has been with me before I saw any, thought any, wondered about anything. Was alive, at 7 months old, alive. Who was my first interview? A baby statue of the baby Jesus. And when I looked him in the eye, what did I see? A broken-hearted, sad old man. Oh yeah? What year was that? It was July 1944, Brooklyn!